Roll call, please, Ms. Ricky.
Michael Chandler,
Here.
Kel Curran,
Here.
Jordan DeLon, Tabitha Denny,
Here.
Terry Hickey,
Here.
Terry Hodges,
Here.
Dusty Madewell,
Here.
Kenny Smith, Brick Wall,
Here.
Michael Woodley.
Here.
Mr. May, will you lead us in prayer?
Dear God, we just thank you for the ability, God, to be here tonight, Lord. I pray, Father, that you'd help us all to make right and sound decisions. Best fit this county and big little live here, Father, and we just give you praise and thank you for your goodness. In Jesus' name, amen.
I'll stand and do the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess we can go on and be talking
Well,
about
he'll,
these.
he'll be here. Just,
You wanna wait on him?
Yeah, I would prefer to that way.
Okay, that's fine.
Man, that hour is.
Doing good. How are you? Oh, see. We done went ahead and had the pledge and roll call.
Okay, what we're here tonight for is to discuss and approve these sheriff department grants. So we are giving, I don't know exactly what, but anyway, we'll ask Sheriff Brock to give us some insight on this.
All right, good evening. Thank you, guys. You should have received some information on the three grants we'll be talking about tonight. The first grant will be the ELC, which is the Epidemiology and Laboratory Clinic Confinement Facilities Funding Grant, and it's going to be the largest of the three. The cover page tells you that this is a grant total of $479,551 through the Department of Health for the state of Tennessee, and that this is a $0 matching grant. This is to be spent and then be reimbursed from the state of Tennessee through the Department of Health, and the grant ends on June 30th of 2023. This grant is the grant that the previous administration began working on during the conversations about needs for the sheriff's office, such as patrol vehicles, the upgrade to the sheriff's office management record systems, which is referred to in this as SOMS, S-O-M-S. Currently, we're using WinSOMS, which is a SOMS for Windows, and we need to upgrade to iSOMS. That we'd kind of known about that, or the sheriff's office had known about that for some time. This grant was the grant they were looking for to purchase those items, along with some other things that are directly, I guess maybe I could say affected, but would be used, dollars would be used off this grant in compliance with helping to, I guess, squash how COVID spreads. So there's going to be certain things that are required in the patrol car that would maybe like a split cage confinement in the back. For instance, that's the big thing, so that you would have an air vent. If you had two people, then you'd have separate air come into both of those folks. There was things listed in this grant about a mobile physical is what it's called. That's to be used by the medical staff in the jail, the nurse, and that will be something that she's able to move and transport through the jail, kind of like in the hospitals where they have their whole electronic system on wheels, and they're able to move through the jail rather than bringing the inmates out and through the general public or anything like that. So a lot of those things are in that. This grant they worked on, it kind of got stalled off, and whenever we came into office, started asking questions and started pushing again on this, and I was able to work with the mayor's office and get the Title VI compliance forms done, which essentially got us to where we were able to get the green light from these folks on receiving this grant. The problem is, I guess, is the timeline that it leaves us with to get the quotes that we need and to put these things in place. But I'm happy to try to answer any of these questions about anything that's included in this if you want to. I can tell you that there's some things in this that we've talked to the Department of Health concerning this grant, that they said that they were a little flexible if we needed to amend the items. You know, if there were some items that we thought, I'm not so sure if that's exactly what we need, but this is more in line of what we need. As long as it meets the criteria for helping reduce the spread of COVID-19, they're basically going to let us amend that with their approval. So
I have a question.
yes.
Where it says X-ray scanner at $166,000,
Yes.
are we gonna have to hire someone to be able to use the X-ray scanner, and who's gonna read those?
This is not an X-ray scanner like a medical X-ray. This is X-ray for contraband, things like that. It's kind of like I want to say maybe like a closet type. There's two different ones that were looked at when the previous administration got these numbers put together. One of the ideas that they looked at was a moving person through like a closet style, and as they move through, it scanned them. The other was you come in, you stand still in position, and it takes a body image and sees if there's any abnormalities, I guess just to say. You know, it should be able to detect between the liver and what might be a balloon filled with narcotics or something like that. So it's really not an X-ray scanner for broke bones or anything like that. It's just checking for contraband, weapons, things of that nature.
On these vehicles, are you gonna let them out on beds, or that's the way this goes?
State contract. Yeah.
What's the van gonna be used for?
That was one of the items that I was interested in talking to them about trying to amend, because I think we're better served if I can. Now, if I say something that I'm crossing, just stop me, okay? But as far as I don't want to violate anything in this special meeting, but what I was thinking, we may be better served with another patrol car rather than a transport van. This transport van, in the inception of it, was thought that it would have separate compartments in the back, and then one transport officer could go to multiple locations and pick up one maybe in White County, another in Putnam, another in Warren, make one big sweeping move and come back and bring all of them in there, and they're in separate compartments in the back. Personally, I think we're better served with another vehicle that patrols our streets here. Looking at the number of transports that we make, how far we go, I think we're better served in trying to amend that and get another patrol vehicle.
Is that on the vehicles, Chevrolet, Ford, or anybody, gets the bid through the state?
On the state contract, you have, you decide basically what you want, and then you contact who holds the contract for Ford or who holds the contract for Dodge. I know Dodge, there's a representative in East Tennessee named Russell Mold that I've worked with in the past. He would give the contract bid for Dodge. For Ford, that we've bought in the past, the Ford vehicles that are out here now, the two 2021 SUVs, as well as the Ford that I bought previously with where I was employed at before, worked with Lonnie Cobb Ford out of Henderson, Tennessee. So there was two Ford dealerships that were under the state bid. One was Ford of Murfreesboro, the other was Lonnie Cobb in Henderson. And basically, you just reached out to them. They got the same price. You just see who's gonna help you out on availability the fastest, so. And when they quote that vehicle back to you, that vehicle's quoted with lights, the cage, the gun racks, the siren box. It has everything that you should need in it besides your radio and a radar unit, if you're gonna put that in there. And that's
So
why.
when you get it, it's gonna be ready to go, right?
When you get it, it's ready to go, except for having a radio.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to put a radio in it. And we would want to put a radar unit in it too, so. And then we also, I think we're behind, but we need to get these units marked too. Our units that are gonna be on the road, we need to have them marked.
When will you know what can be amended and what can't?
It's when, I don't know a date on that. It's just something that we submit to them. The thing I can tell you they told us is that they were pretty forgiving on, on making amendments. No. They'll be, what I would ask for is, the all-wheel drive unit, Ford SUV, what we're using now. And, without going into a whole lot of details, where we've been this week, some of the places we've been this week, you'd know why we need all-wheel drive vehicle, so.
Separation in the back to the vehicles we already have?
No. Would we have to?
Yeah.
No, the
these.
split cage would just be for these that we purchase here.
Okay.
The purchasing of these vehicles under this grant, what you would have to do is put a split cage in it. And when I talked to, because I've really not seen the split cage up close, but I called the state, Lonnie Cobb's fleet manager, Stephen Blackston, and I asked him about it, and he said that, yeah, that he's done this for other agencies under these grants. He knows what I'm talking about, and he said, basically, I'll work you up a quote whenever you're ready for it and get it to you. He and I have done business together in the past, so he told me, he said, it ain't gonna be a whole lot different in price because really you're just shortening the cage is what you're doing.
Will we have to approve these grants, each one individual?
It could be approved together.
I hear,
Well, I will say, there's some things in this that I'm asking for them to look at, that I think there may be better ways of spending the dollars than what's on this paper. Some things that would be nice if it worked, but I'm not so sure it works in our rural area. So, I'm open to talk about those things as long as we can. But vehicles, split cage, having them there, that's good. Having this mobile clinic that we can use in the jail, that's great, that's a good thing. This floor cleaning package is kind of like a sanitizing a scrub brush that you kind of walk behind. It's got the scrubber inside it and you're walking behind it, so it's scrubbing and squeegeeing and doing all of that in one motion for sanitization. What I was told is it can be used on tile floors like this, as well as the concrete floors that are in the jail. Then you got a lot of dollars in there that are for PPE, for gloves, masks, things like that, that we could find.
What about the vehicle workstations?
The vehicle workstations would be great if it works, but when you're talking about putting workstations into the vehicles, my fear is, or my concern is this. I've tried to put a workstation in a car in the past here when I was patrolling in the city, and I couldn't get enough coverage, wireless coverage, for it to be beneficial. It was that laptop and that system was purchased under a grant back then. If you could work in your car here in Van Buren County and Spencer, if you could work in your car and do it, that would be fabulous. But I'm not so sure that we have the wireless coverage that we would need, for one. And the second thing is, you buy the equipment under the grant, then you're still tying yourself up with a wireless bill every month from here on forward. And I'm not so sure that I want to commit to that either, myself. I think, that's why I say I think there's dollars that can be spent better as we look deeper into it.
This outlet you're gonna put by the show, is it gonna be done by a licensed contractor?
I would hope so.
you know, if you're gonna have water nearby, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it would need to be. Any other questions you guys got on that one?
Your motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Michael Chandler,
Yes.
Kel Crane,
Yes.
Tabitha Denny,
Yes.
Terry Hickey,
Yes.
Terry Hodges,
Yes.
Dusty Madewell,
Yes.
Kenny Smith,
Yes.
Rick Wall,
Yes.
Michael Woodley.
Yes.
Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carried.
Thank you. We can move on to the second one then. Let's talk about, this one is, got the heading TCI grant. TCI is the Tennessee Corrections Institute Training Equipment Grant for $9,930. We have been advised by TCI, this is the first time that they've tried to do this kind of grant. They were scheduled to start letting folks spend their money on December 1st, but with them learning what they need to do and going through a learning process on their side, they've asked us to hold off for a couple of weeks, and they'll give us a go date of when dollars can start being spent on that if we decide to approve and go forward. But this grant here is, like it says, a training equipment grant. And the things that we're looking at for expenditures on this would be to benefit the jail. And it's, you know, we've talked about how old the computers are, the desktops, and how slow and old they are. But we're looking at getting 3 desktops. There would be 2 desktop computers for the booking room, 1 desktop for what we commonly refer to as the tower. There would also be 2 laptops. One of those laptops could be used for training. The other laptop would be used on court days when we have a corrections officer moving from the jail to the courtroom, so we could pull that information up without having to either leave the courtroom and call back to the jail or go to a computer back in the jail and try to pull that information up. Included in that is the software packages for Word, the Word suite, and then 1 package for Adobe Pro. And that would just be for one of the computers on creating forms and updating those. Also in this grant is listed taser cartridges. And taser cartridges are needed for those people who are going to carry tasers and are certified to carry tasers. Then part of the training is that you have to go through the taser training every year. Part of that is deployment of cartridges. And so with the cartridges that have been expelled, we need to replace those, but then also this gives us the opportunity to be able to get our hands on some more cartridges for folks who are coming on and being trained, for them to be able to deploy that and see how that works.
Since
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Hickey. There's a couple of chairs on there too
Yeah.
that's listed in it, so.
but since they're not letting you start spending money, are they gonna extend the deadline on
They
this?
said they're looking at extending the deadline, and the last email I got from them said TCI will work work with counties to extend the grant extension past
Yeah.
April 30th of '22. So,
And it won't take long to be past April 30th.
right, and he's, in this email, he's hoping to have an answer, but the answer won't be till Thursday this
Yeah.
week. But that'd be great benefit for the folks in the jail. Corrections officers.
Any other questions?
And this is something that your crew started, or the previous crew?
This grant came out just about election time, and well, when Jared Campbell was still with us, Jared and I were in the second week of new sheriff school whenever I heard about this training grant that was coming out, and whenever we got back here, we applied for that. No, the one that came from the previous administration is the big one, the 400 one. That grant's been around for a couple of years.
Anything else? Do I hear a motion to approve or disapprove?
I'll move.
Roll call, please.
Michael Chandler,
Yes.
Kell Crane,
Yes.
Tabitha Denny,
Yes.
Terry Hickey,
Yes.
Terry Hodges,
Yes.
Dusty Maple,
Yes.
Kenny Smith,
Yes.
Rick Wall,
Yes.
Michael Woodley.
Yes.
Motion carried. Anybody want to change their vote? Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Now then.
And this last is called a CPC Tech Grant. CPC is the acronym for Combined Public Communications LLC, a company that we do business with, who has our phones that we have on the walls that the inmates use whenever, when we bring people in or whenever they're making their phone calls. Also, it's the device that's it's called a chirp. Okay, it acts like being able to send a text message to folks as long as you have money on your commissary, money to spend. It's 10 cents a message. So that's the company that we do business with, Combined Public Communications. In that packet, you see that Van Buren Sheriff's Office has been doing business with these folks for a long time. What I've been back to is, I believe, 2015 is when they entered into a contractual agreement together. CPC came to the sheriff's office and right before the election term of this year and said they were going to award the sheriff's office with a $25,000 tech grant. And this tech grant was to be supplied by them, and that was to be awarded to the sheriff's office over 4 years, $6,250 annually. And with the stipulation, or not really stipulation, but with an opportunity maybe to link 2 of those years together because none of the money had been spent. But this money would be spent on things that would be beneficial to the sheriff's office or to the jail. So this is another $0 matching grant. And the way that this would work is we would get the quotes for items per our purchasing policy, and then we would send that invoice to CPC under the guidelines of this tech grant, and then they would pay that. So my understanding from them is this check would not be written from Van Buren County. We would just be following our purchasing policies and guidelines and then submitting that invoice to them, and they would be taking care of that. This could be used on items that are greatly needed in the jail, and one of those, if we're able to go forward with this, one of those things we're looking at is getting radios for our corrections officers that never have had.
Any questions? I hear a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Michael Chandler,
Yes.
Kell Crane,
Yes.
Tabitha Denny,
Yes.
Terry Hickey,
Yes.
Terry Hodges,
Yes.
Dusty Maple,
Yes.
Kenny Smith,
Yes.
Rick Wall,
Yes.
Michael Woodley.
Yes.
Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carried.
Thank you, guys. Before I sit down, I would just say that because that you guys, or the previous commission, I guess, had allotted us in their budget, we've got, I had already begun getting quotes for radios. So, and that would fall under this, if we're able now to use that, then that would save us money, and we can use it on that grant.
Am
Yes.
I allowed to ask him a question?
Yeah.
Is Mr. Campbell still working for you?
No.
That's the reason there's 7,000 something on the payroll here with his check?
His check,
Yes.
I didn't know how much his check was, but I knew it was large. I knew it would have to be large, yeah.
How come so large?
Because of the comp time and holiday and vacation time that he was allowed to accrue while he did work here for however many years he was here. Yes, sir.
Is there a way we can cap any of that?
Yes, I can, that's been addressed. When I came in to office, one of the things, when I signed the first paychecks, or timesheets, not paychecks, those get signed by somebody else. But signing timesheets before they would go up to the mayor's office. And I saw these things, and I saw how things were, there was a couple that had been let go. And I told him, said that we're gonna have to fix that, and we've already fixed it, so. Now, I could not take time away from him, and there's one other person that I cannot take time away from, but everything else is well within the guidelines. Thank you. Just in common words, it just takes policing it. Thank you guys so much.
Moving on to item number 4, approve or disapprove bid for volunteer fire departments. Do you want to talk about that, David?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Pretty self-explanatory.
it is self-explanatory. This is the only bid we got. We opened it up, and we also brought April Shockley in to do the viewing of the opening there. That way we had a witness that was not tied to our office. And so this was the only bid that we have for the volunteer fire department. This is the same company that had it before, the Brian Frost, BFIS, the Stevens Frost Agency, so out of Hendersonville, Tennessee.
But last year it was 50,000 and something, so it's went
Yes,
down.
it actually went down about $5,000. And I thought that was surprising to see the drop.
Is this in the budget, or is this new? Is this in the budget or not?
It's always been in the budget.
It is?
Yeah, it'd be in the budget, because it'd be paid, if I'm correct, out of their
Through the
percentage.
fire account.
Yes, through the fire account.
That was started in 80-something,
Yeah,
whenever,
about 82, how?
88, 82?
What about the building in Mooneyham, the fire department building that
Did we talk about that?
You just can't take any action on it, but you can talk
Okay.
about it.
All right, let's get rid of this, and then I'll let him open that up, and then I will entertain you with that information there.
I hear a motion to approve.
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Michael Chandler,
Yes.
Kell Crane,
Yes.
Tabitha Denny,
Yes.
Terry Hickey,
Yes.
Terry Hodges,
Yes.
Dusty Mabel,
Yes.
Kenny Smith,
Yes.
Brick Wall,
Yes.
Michael Woodley.
Yes.
Anybody want to change their vote? Motion carried. All right, now then, we can't take no action, but we can discuss.
Okay. Over in Mooneyham, the building that was started over there.
You talking about the building or the fire department, you said?
Well, the fire department, whatever it's gonna be,
It's
though.
gonna be a community center,
There's a
right?
community, well, if we're talking about the one right across from where Brother Wayne
Yes.
preaches.
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure we was on the 285.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, on 285 right there, the foundation and everything was laid and poured. They had $150,000 left to do the rest of the building. When they got their bids, nobody would build it for that amount of money. So the money went back to the grant from where it came. Yes. So that's the situation. I did check on that, and that's the status of it. The lady said there may be a grant in the future that we can get, but the problem is that with that there, couldn't get it bid under that value.
The state didn't have any prisoners over there that would come and build
Well,
up for that.
With the prisoners there, I'll let Mr. Crane talk to you. This is a new era. Can we use the prisoners for that? under the grant?
Year from what we were told that the county was awarded, or they was able to be the general contractor and we could sub it out under the previous administration, but, you know, it is.
If that be the case,
Right.
with that right there, I run into a boy that was from over there, and I asked him, he's a good carpenter, if he would be interested in building it. And he said he would, but he don't have contractor's license, and so, you know, the money had done went back, so it was irrelevant then, because it was done, went back to wherever it came from. But like I said, though, we can reapply.
Well, where did money come from that what you got done?
Well, it's from that grant. See, they had it to do it in sections. And they-
Contractor didn't take the whole bid on it?
No,
That's
no,
all he
see,
wanted
it was
to do.
being separate. You had your grade work and different things that they had to do. Now, this is my understanding. I've not found a contract. I'm telling you what I've found out just through the grapevine. You know what I'm saying? And talking to anybody that I could get any information out of. But I did call the state to see if we could get that $150,000 back. You know, the lady that had the grant. And she says, no, it's gone, but you can reapply when they come back up again.
Is that gonna come back, you know when it's coming back up, or?
There's fixing to be some come up, I think, in March. But the kicker to this is, and I've got to get information because it's just come in this week, and I've not got to see any of the people that I make contact with, you know, through the Upper Cumberland, when I go to see them, then I'll talk to them about it while I'm there. With it, there's some grants coming up, but you can't have a grant in place. So, you know, I don't know how long it's going to be open, but as soon as I find out, then I can give you more information later.
Okay.
Well, that one is closed, but see, they're having new ones coming out. I think the new ones come out in March, if I'm not mistaken. I hate to tell you that for sure because it's something like that, and because it said you have to be aware you cannot have other grants in place that are not completed before this one starts.
I guess the residents get cheaper insurance, for insurance, right? If you get that bill.
If you live within a certain radius of the fire department, you get a discount depending on the rating of the fire department.
Yes,
Yes.
and the insurance companies.
So it benefit the community well, you know, we can get it built.
Whereas I know it wasn't a fire hall.
No, it's not a fire hall now.
It's just
It was a community center.
Community center?
It's a community center, yes.
Okay.
And Mr. Crane can enlighten you on some stuff that we've been talking to the state with.
It's possible if we can use the counties as a subcontract. It's possible that we could do a community project and have it done like that. Like they used to do, like they built the barns down at the fair and all that, so it's possible that we can do that. Just have to go through the paperwork channel.
You marked the community center, too. That's been, yeah, years ago. They came in and laid the gym at Sampson. Your motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.